Let's go to the experts and get a quick view on this. Ayjaz Wani is a strategic studies program, is part of the strategic studies program at the Observer Research Foundation. He is an expert on the region's security dynamics, including terrorism and radicalization. Kulbir Krishan is a former Intelligence Bureau officer and a former Director General of Police. Lieutenant General Satish Dua is former Chief of the Integrated Defence Staff. Welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for being with me. Kulbir Krishan, 32 cars, serial blasts, 2,900 kilograms of explosives, 50 targets recce'd in various parts of Delhi, December 6th, Babri Masjid anniversary, Jaish-e-Mohammed sleeper cell, with white-collar personnel basically being the architects of this entire design. How do you read this, sir?
Thank you for having me. This is a diabolical plot, and a lot of alarm bells and red flags have to go up because this cell was working for almost 10-11 months and has been found out just because of good old-fashioned police work by SSP Srinagar, following up the leads and going systematically from one place to another over 3 weeks.
Yeah.
However, to my mind, there was a little premature leak of information or sharing of information with the media, due to which this bomb blast could occur and Mohammed Nabi could escape with the I-20. If a little restraint had been used, we could perhaps have rounded up all the members of the module and precious lives could have been saved. But be that as it may, a much bigger and more serious plot has been prevented. But the fact remains that how did we not find out about this? For this, my personal view is that they have used very good technology, but we have the entire government's resources. So we need something like GCHQ Cheltenham, where we can intercept calls, particularly foreign calls to Pakistan, Turkey, Bangladesh, and other inimical nations. Perhaps we don't have that, and we have to wake up and find that.
Okay.
Number two, how could this Al-Falah University continue for so long in such a way? It cannot wash its hands off. In fact, it's supposed to have 76 acres of land. If you want to build a house, you need to change the land use. And normally, agricultural land use is not easily changed into any other thing like university or other things. Did they have the permissions?
No, we will ask the
much.
questions about Al-Falah in just a moment. I want to keep it as focused and structured, this discussion, as possible. Otherwise, we'll be covering everything under the sun. Lieutenant General Dua, the fact that there was this huge elaborate plan, by one little sleeper cell, 32 cars, 50 targets, a series of blasts. Could this have been possible without, help from the other side, sir? And I mean material, logistical, elaborate level help?
Short answer, Shiv, is no. I don't think this could be an act organic to a sleeper cell and some terrorists over here. We are seeing a big shift in the strata of terrorism, in the terrorists. I mean, they're all doctors, educated people. It is not from the same, we normally see a certain strata of society and we feel that the radicalized terrorists would come from the lower strata. That's not the case. And this is something that is that happened in Delhi after 14 years. 2011 was the last blast in Delhi. This huge network unearthed started by the SSP in Srinagar. It showed very good coordination between the police forces because the J&K police coordinated with Haryana police and coordinated with UP police to make different raids and put all these cogs together. But the larger question is, why Delhi and why now?
Yeah.
And to my mind, whatever they may have done, I'm talking about Pakistan, whatever they may have done in the aftermath of Operation Sindoor, however they may sell it to the domestic audience as a win, but the fact is, the Pakistan military and the deep state is smarting after the drubbing that it got from in Operation Sindoor. And to my mind, they would like to show some response. This is the kind of response they're looking at. The Jaish-e-Mohammed, and now the links are pointing to Jaish-e-Mohammed. I do concede that Jaish has not come out and claimed responsibility, perhaps because it wasn't intended to be this way. It was supposed to be something else happened in between because of all. So the Jaish, we know that their leader Masood Azhar lost 10 or 11 of his close family members. We also know that recently he started openly making speeches in Pakistan. I think all in all, this is a plot to shake. I mean, Kashmir is a very robust grid, and Delhi, like you also pointed out, is symbolism. It does not matter how many lives we lost. It is a question of, lives matter. I'm saying the number of lives. It is symbolism.
Correct.
Symbolism of national red fort, parliament. These are symbols of a nation. So to that extent, I think it's an attack on our country. And last sentence, I would say, let us remember that no less than the Prime Minister has said an act of terror will be treated as an act of war. And I'm sure we will see responses.
And we hear it is going to be treated as an act of war, even as the investigation continues. Ayjaz Wani, in the context of these details that have come out, how do you read this entire conspiracy? Post-Operation Sindoor, the will to strike back, symbolism, spectacle, what do you think?
Sir, I will go a little back to the abrogation in 2019, when there was a policy shift from the New Delhi, accompanied by enhanced security measures and accelerated development, which significantly reduced terrorism within the valley. And there was a geographical shift. From 2020, we saw a geographical shift towards Pir Panchal first, then Jammu region. And during same time, what Pakistan did, they started more and more smuggling of narcotics. Because of FATF, they were under grey list, and IB was used to finance their proxy war in Kashmir. And secondly, that narcotics within Kashmir became a bigger problem. As of today, we see 1.4 million drug users in Kashmir Valley. So then comes their problem. They want to change the geography every time. Once they were in Jammu, and Jammu security apparatus became more strong. So they started to change the geography. And secondly, what Doha sir said, that after Operation Sindoor, when many of the family members and well-wishers of Jaish-Mohammed Chief Masood Azhar were killed, so this was a conspiracy against India. So they want to have some suicide bombers in New Delhi. So that is the case. So this is the geographical shift to what we see in terrorism after 2019 to me. Secondly, the white-collar terrorism which we are discussing. They were using white-collar terrorism before 2019 also for fundraising, for radicalizing, rather than direct involvement. But this time, what they did, they started direct involvement of those white-collar terrorists. That is the bigger problem for me. If I may be asked, what should we do? First of all, I want to see whether those who are involved in this bigger conspiracy, they were using drugs. This is the bigger question to me. Because I know from 2018-19, when I started writing on drugs and how those drugs came into Kashmir and how they were used for logistic support, for getting our ground support. So the bigger question here is whether those doctors and others who were who were involved in this larger terror conspiracy, whether they were also using drugs. And second thing, last thing is, as radicalization is a continuous process, the blast which we saw near Red Fort was panic blast. But to me, he was not radicalized to that extent because they were having time frame, as you said, in December. So it was a panic blast because he was not radicalized fully. That is why I salute the security agencies, especially in J&K, who from a small postal, started and grabbed hold of all this terror sleeper cell.